Happy Tuesday, everyone. It's Stacy from Totally Twisted Cards, and I'm here with day 2 of my guest designer spot over at peachykingStamps.blogspot.com. And today we're going to create this super adorable little elf card, and we're going to use Peachy King Stamps PK532, which is the Simple Sallies, and we'll be using the little cute guy with the glasses right there. And we're also going to be using the Cricut. We'll be using the Jolly Holidays cartridge, and that's our little elf right there. These went on Black Friday sale last Christmas for sale at Walmart, and I was able to pick one of those up. So, on my Gypsy, you can see that this is how it's laid out on my Cricut, and then I just cut that over on my Cricut. So here are my pieces all cut out, and you'll notice that when I created these on my Gypsy, I told it not to cut the eyes or any of the face features out. And I also told it not to cut the buttons because I'll be putting real buttons on. But what I like to do is I like to ink this all up before I put it together. And I'm going to use the Tim Holtz peeled paint for all the green parts. And then I'm going to use the tea dye for around some of the white parts on my little elf guy. And then for the hands, and the face, I have the Stampin' Up! Apricot Appeal, which is really good for skin tone, and I'll actually ink around the face and the hands for that. And then I will also ink around those spots on my white piece too, because sometimes when you put these pieces on to the white pieces, you have a little bit of white showing, so I like to ink around that too, just to make sure I have all that hidden. And then finally, what I'll wind up doing is on this string piece right here where the lights are, I'll wind up coloring that black with my black Copic, just because it's going to again hide the white once I put the black piece on. And then rather than putting the light colored pieces on, I'm going to color those with my Copics. It's R29 and G05. Again, it just makes it a lot easier to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that and fast forward through it so you guys can see it. There's our super cute elf. Now next we'll want to put our Peachy King face stamp on it, and for that I'm using the black StazOn ink just because it'll dry pretty quickly for me. So we'll just ink this up. Sure, it's good and inked up. And then stamp a super cute face on. I think these stamps just make these cute cuts so adorable. Okay, so there's that. now we can begin to assemble our card. And what I have is a red piece of cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11. I believe this is Recollections. It was 8.5 by 11, and I cut it to 11 by 4 1/4. And then we'll just fold this in half with our bone folder, and that will give us a portrait style card base. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to use this white glitter cardstock from DCWV. It comes from the Christmas Winter stack. So I have that, and we're going to Cuttlebug that. You could use your Big Shot or whatever it is you have, but we're going to use this Sizzix embossing folder, which is this, and we'll put this right in there like that, and I'll Cuttlebug that, and then we'll be back. So here's what the white glitter cardstock looks like once you Cuttlebug it with that embossing folder. And I've cut this to fit as a mat on my card base, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have this piece, which is also from DCWV. This is from the Merry Christmas stack, and this piece measures 4 by 2 3/4. And this'll, I have some adhesive already on the back of it, just ran my ATG over it. But this will go on the bottom of this piece, so just line that up as so. And then next I want to use this ribbon that I got from the dollar store. It says Happy Holidays, and I kind of want that to be my sentiment for the card. So I cut a piece of that out, and that will lay just on top of here over at the end. And what I did was I ran some adhesive using my ATG gun on the back of this, and again, that's kind of how I like to put my ribbon on, because I can move the ribbon around a lot easier than if I taped it down on the back. So I just want to make sure that this is overlapping the two pieces, so it kind of hides the seam there, and I want to make sure that the Happy Holidays is on the end there, so when I put my cute little elf on there, he won't be covering that piece up. So that's that, and then I just need to trim the excess off of there, and I'm going to run some more ATG over the ribbon and around the sides, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this on my card base. So this goes on the card base and has about 1/8 of an inch border going around it. And one other thing that I did off camera with that small piece of designer paper down there is that I inked up the edges around it just so the white wouldn't show. I just took that Pill Paint Tim Holtz ink and inked the bottom of it. So there's that. And next I want to put my cute little guy on, and I want him on here in such a way that I'm tucking his lights underneath the Happy Holidays, because again, I don't want to cover up too much of that. That is my sentiment for the card, and he'll kind of go on like that. So I have some dimensional adhesive on the back of him already, and again, I use this foam adhesive that I get at Big Lots for about $2. So this is just single layer. You don't want to pump them up too much. Just take the back off of that, and then we'll tuck him up underneath that ribbon. I've been using this adhesive a lot, or this dimensional adhesive a lot lately. I really like it. It's much cheaper than buying Pop Dots or the other equivalents. Okay, so there's our little guy. Tuck this in once again and get him positioned on here how we like him. Make sure I'm not covering up my Happy Holidays too much. And his hat will overlap a little, and that's okay because I like that in a card. So there's that. One final thing, or two final things to do on this is I need to add my buttons. I'm actually going to use real buttons. I got some buttons from my button stash, and I'm going to use these Zots. They're the small. They fit on there really nice, and they hold really well too. So we'll just lay a button on the glue dot, peel it up, and put it down. Really pretty easy. And we'll get the other one. We'll lay that one down too. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to add this Martha Stewart tinsel glitter, which kind of looks like snow, to his pom-pom and the top part of his hat. And I will use the Glossy Accents as my glue for that. And I'll just put some on here. Actually, I want to lay my mat down so I don't get this glued up. And then on this white part too. You don't need a whole lot of it, just enough to glue down the tinsel. And this will take a little while to dry, so you'll want to make sure if you're using this on your card, you give enough time for it to dry. And I'm just going to lay a little piece of paper down here so I can collect the extras from the tinsel. And we'll go ahead and just put a lot of that on the top of this. Knock off all the excess, and there you have it. It's a pretty easy, pretty simple, very cute Christmas card, and you can put your own sentiment or saying on the inside too. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed day 2 of my guest designer spot over at peachykingstamps.blogspot.com. Visit my blog too at www.totallytwistedcards.com. For this week, which is November 7th through 11th, Peachy King is allowing me to give away some of their stamps. So be sure to go over to their blog as well as my blog and leave a comment for a chance to win. Again, that's November 7th through November 11, 2011. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow with another Peachy King project. Thanks, bye-bye.